Oh, the humanity, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury. It is done. This is not a drill. No longer hearsay and rumour. This is fact. I want to come on here and say that I told you so, that this was going to happen at some point this weekend. But I shan't. Let's get to the chase. Checo Perez is gonzo sacabo. The sun timer on his time, his tenure at the Bulls that are red, has now expired, of course, on the back of his substantial underperformance season today as versus Maximilian Verstappen, who scored 437 points in that RB20 iteration of car, as versus Checo Perez's 152. That is a delta, a difference of 285. Red Bull, for them, it was too much. 40% of the Milton Keynes factory workers, 40% of their bonus now gone. Motivation indeed is at a premium currency if indeed they harbour aspirations of building themselves a championship winning car next year. No amount of tequila can affect change for that, no amend for that. We get the news now that Checo Perez is gone, so Christian Horner and Helmut Marko have made the decision that we always knew was going to come. It was a matter of when and not if. F1.com says Checo Perez and Red Bull agreed to part ways following the conclusion of the 2024 season. Checo Perez and Red Bull have reached an agreement to part ways with immediate effect. Earlier in the year, Checo Perez signed a new deal to race for the team until the end of 2026, inclusive of 2025. 2-year deal. What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We understand now why that decision was made, of course, because it was rancor, it was chaos settings, it was Christian Horner misconduct gate, it was the threat of Maximilian Verstappen leaving. You couldn't sign Carlos Sainz Jr. because indeed, if you do that, you exacerbate that threat. Do you not? F1.com continues. Earlier this year, Checo Perez signed a deal, a 2-year deal, expiring as at 2026 when he finished second to teammate and champion Maximilian Verstappen. However, his form tailed off after signing that deal, and the Mexican Minister of Defense scored just 9 points in the last 8 Grand Prix weekends of 2024. What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen, here? What are we talking about? I think we've got to address the elephant in the room. Why was he here so long still? And I do want to run roughshod over Checo Perez fans who said, no, he's definitely going to be driving for 2025. What are you talking about, Cameron? Rumour and gossip PLC. Well, how about now? How about now? It would be disingenuous, however, of me to start running riot over, dancing over Checo Perez's grave. However, he's leaving for the avoidance of doubt. That's the nuts and bolts of this story. But I digress. F1.com continues. He ended up in 8th in the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen, his teammate driving the same car, ended up in 1st. Full-time settings, just to outline even the juxtaposition and contrast. With Red Bull Racing failing to defend the Constructors' Championship and seeing out the season in P3 behind champions McLaren and runners-up Ferrari. For the avoidance of doubt, let me reiterate that Max Verstappen won the championship in that RB20 car. He's one of only a few people in history to win a championship in a car that did not win the Constructors' Championship. They finished P3, not even P2. And again, much to the disenchantment of the Red Bull factory, the guys and girls at Milton Keynes, who were counting on Checo Perez to perform to get 40%, up to 40% of their bonus. That has to matter and or mean something going forward. F1.com continues. Throughout the difficult period, Checo remained resolute. No te rindas, cabrón. Entiendes, hacer, that he would race for the team next year. But following the discussions with Red Bull, they've agreed to split after 4 years together. Checo Perez tweeted out as follows, bless him, "Thank you for the 4 years, Red Bull. I wish you all the best. I'm incredibly," Checo Perez talking here, and I quote verbatim, "I'm incredibly grateful for the past 4 years with Oracle Red Bull Racing and the opportunity to race with such an amazing team. Driving for Red Bull," continued the Mexican, "has been an unforgettable experience, and I've always cherished the successes we've achieved together. We broke records, reached remarkable milestones, and I've had the privilege of meeting so many incredible people along the way. A big thank you," says Checo Perez, "to every person in the team, for the management, engineers, mechanics, catering, cost cap settings, hospitality, kitchen, marketing and communications, as well as everybody at Milton Keynes. I wish you all the best for the future. It's also been an honour to race alongside Maximilian Verstappen, 4-time champion, soon to be 5, some say. And yes, the Mexican Minister de Defense, of course, addressed Max Verstappen that way as a teammate all these years, and to sharing our success. A special thank you to the fans all around the world, and especially to Mexican fans in your unwavering support every day. We'll meet again soon, and remember, no te rindas, cabrón. Never, ever give up. Oh, the humanity. The article continues. Red Bull boss Christian Horner said, I would like to thank Checo for all he has done for Oracle Red Bull Racing over the past 4 seasons. From the moment that he joined in 2021, he proved himself to be an extraordinary team player, helping us to 2 Constructors titles and to our first 1-2 finish in the Drivers' Championship. It's a shame there was only one of those, but I digress. His 5 wins are all on street circuits, Baku, Singapore settings, were also a spectacular mark of his determination to always push to the limits. While Checo will not race for the team next season, he will always be an extremely popular team member and a treasured part of our history. Thank you, Checo Perez. Oh, the humanity. And it's a shame, isn't it? At this point, it's probably most timely for me to say that once upon a time, Checo Perez, man formerly known as the Mexican Minister of Defense, was a God Tier 1 2021 settings. He was instrumental in deciding which way the Drivers' Championship went. Turkey, he was brilliant. A material impediment in the way of one Sir Lewis Hamilton. Same story too at Abu Dhabi in the season finale. But somewhere along the line, something has happened. Checo Perez barely looks match fit, barely looks interested these days. I was watching The Anatomy of a Champion, some old footage, and you could see Checo Perez. He was a hungry young lion once upon a time, a brilliant racer, very good in defence each and every single time. But something has happened leading to this as its culmination. Red Bull agreeing by mutual agreement to terminate his contract. Christian Horner says, or Perez, F1.com continues, by the way. Perez secured 5 wins, including victories in Monaco. Remember that victory in Monaco, 2022 settings. Again, that some might say that was the beginning of the end, having deliberately, in inverted commas, allegedly crashed in Q3 to hinder the purple sector, the oncoming purple lap of one Maximilian Verstappen and his teammates. Some might say that was the inception point. But I digress. Over 90 starts with the team and played a key role in Red Bull winning the Constructors in 2022 and 2023. Not to mention the Drivers in 2021. That will, of course, be the moment most worthy of mention in the career of one Mexican Minister of Defense. But I digress. The Mexican won't be on the grid next year, but it remains unclear whether he wants to pursue a seat in 2026. Red Bull said further announcements regarding the team's full 2025 lineup will be made in due course. Wait a honey dickers, for Pete's sake. Stop tempting us. Liam Lawson, however, says F1.com is favourite to step up from RB to Red Bull, with Yuki Tsunoda looking set to miss out on the promotion. The Japanese driver having tested for Red Bull at the post-season test in Abu Dhabi. Oh, the humanity. For the avoiders of doubt, to summarise, Checo Perez is gonzo. We don't know yet whether he's got the ambassadorial role with a view to preserve the financial bottom line. Lest we forget, he brought up to $20 million courtesy of his sponsorship, his Telemex sponsorship, again courtesy of one Carlos Slim. What are they going to do with that? The initial goal was to superimpose that onto one Franco Colapinto, but then he started yeeting into the barrier each and every single time. Consecutive race settings. Colapinto, who's gone from the wrecking, it will not be him. It's a toss-up between Liam Lawson and, of course, one Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda tested really well. Red Bull engineers, both back at the factory and at Abu Dhabi, said they were super impressed, surprised even at the texture of the Japanese of his advice, of his feedback. But now it sounds like Helmut Marko and Christian Horner don't fancy themselves any of Yuki Tsunoda PLC. It will be Liam Lawson, and we will get that news imminently. I would love to dance on Checo Perez's grave, but you and me and we are better than that. This is a sad day for Mexicans all around the world, for North Americans and South Americans, because they had one in there at Red Bull, at the best team over the past couple of years in the Wonder Fs. This is a sad day. It has been coming, and we've been talking about it for the past 7 to 14 days. It is now, however, we get the official news. Breaking news: Checo Perez will no longer be a Red Bull Racing driver, set to be superseded by one Liam Lawson. Of that, we will get news over the next coming days. Oh, the humanity.